All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly Live. This is show number 7, and it's going to be a fun-filled show. There's no doubt about it. I have four great guests that's going to be on tonight, um, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Probably learn a few things. We'll have a lot of laughs, and I just can't say that I feel honored and privileged that these guys decided to come onto my live stream and share, and we'll talk a little bit about drones. Um, but I have a lot of people in the chat already, so I got to welcome them. And Michael from Fly Zone Drones, he was number one. Good to see you, Michael. Ken Huffbauer, good to see you. John Bonifant, good to see you. Johnny, always good to see you. TJ, how you doing? Jerry Bauer. And I'm going up the list. And Mendez, Jose, Mendez Jonops, how you doing? Let's see, going up the list. Joan Views Media, Alan, all the way from Ireland. Always good to see you. And Jim Beauchart. How you doing, Jim? Sergio, good to see you. Maddie's Drone World. How you doing? But anyway, that's the welcomes for the time being, and I'll get back to the welcoming people as they come in, hopefully. Um, but without further ado, I'm going to get right to our first guest, so he's not in the back room that long. And the first guest that's going to come on is coming to us all the way from Utah. And that's going to be Mike King. And Mike King hosts a live stream called Profiling Evil. And if any of you in the chat are crime buffs or prior law enforcement or law enforcement, Mike is a retired law enforcement officer. And I can't say enough about Profiling Evil. Mike, welcome
Hey,
to
Ray,
my show.
I'm just thrilled to be here. I'm glad you're doing this. This is going to be fun tonight, and I owe you. I mean, you've been on Profiling Evil a number of times, and you've supported me for a long time. We've talked about some really tough cases, you and I. So this is going to be fun to kind of loosen up tonight and just laugh a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to say that you didn't hesitate at all when I brought up the case that I asked you to feature on your show, and I really appreciate that. And for the people in the chat, it's a former partner of mine. He was murdered, and Mike ended up covering it on Profiling Evil, and hopefully, eventually, we'll get some more information, and there'll be an arrest in that case. But anyway, thank you again, Mike. Really, I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, and folks, you need to understand when Ray and I first met, it was through an email, and I thought it was the former police commissioner from New York City Police Department reaching out to me when I saw Ray Kelly, and so I immediately responded. And you know what? I love Commissioner Kelly, Ray, but it's been a whole lot more fun just chatting with you. So,
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Mike. I I mean, the cases that you cover on Profiling Evil, I find so interesting. Really, and you're doing a good thing because you're getting the word out on these cases. You cover them. A lot of people. I mean, just let's talk the Brian Laundrie case. You covered that really, really well.
yeah, well, Brian Laundrie and Gabby actually came through Utah. I know the places that they were. The fact that they were in Moab, of course, you can't live in Utah and not go to Arches and many of the other 5 national parks that are here. But then they came right through my town, and the picture of Gabby at the butterfly monarch display that was all over the media. So if you think about that picture with that beautiful monarch butterfly in the background, that's actually just a few miles from my home and next door to my favorite Mexican restaurant. And so I immediately reached out to my buddies, I took part in building the real-time crime center in the community here. And I reached out and learned that while they wouldn't share anything with me, that there were plate reads from from a Gabby's van here in town. And they were able to put some real footprints down in the sand on that particular case. But, we're talking drones a little today, and primarily drones. But, we did just a few months ago, the case with Lloyd Reese, a young man who's been missing for 32 years. He and his buddy stole license plates out of a car dealership and put them on a unregistered car and drove up to a mountain lake and partied all day and disappeared off the face of the earth. And 30 years later, the family reached out and asked if we would be interested in trying to help them. We used drones to fly the entire route of the lake and look at all of the different areas where there were critical curves, where there were areas that would be inaccessible usually, that line of sight would be a difficulty for seeing things. And then with GIS and mapping and bringing in a group called Adventures with Purpose, we were able to go in and get permission from the federal government, believe it or not, to go into the restricted area next to the dam and go down 200 feet with divers and pull a car up. So that was pretty exciting. And
Right.
Just the way that drones can quickly provide operational and situational understanding is such a game changer in law enforcement.
Oh, it is. It is. And I tell a lot of the people I know that if I was still on the police department, I'd be putting in for the drone unit. But
that's just so you can have all the cool gigs, right? One of the things the police department here is doing with their drone pilots is every fatal accident, they're going out and doing a 3D rendering of the scene and creating 3D models of the scene with all of the measurement information. And it has changed the entire face of traffic as far as investigations as well.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. We try to promote, drones for good as much as we can, and there's so many success stories out there that, in my opinion, don't get publicized enough.
Yeah.
And we do what we can, and it's great to hear that, Mike. And I'm familiar with Adventures with Purpose. Actually, I watched Adventures with Purpose, and you were on that live stream, and that's how I
that's
found
what actually
you.
led you to me. That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and by the way, any of your viewers, if they go over to Profiling Evil and subscribe, Adventures with Purpose and Profiling Evil decided we're going to be giving 12 days of giveaways away for Christmas. So, but you have to be a sub. So it's our sleazy way of getting more subs.
And that's nice. It's nice that you're doing that too. I'm in the contest, by the way.
Good.
but anyway, I'm going to bring in some of the other guests now, and we'll all talk among ourselves after I make my introductions. And I'm going to bring in Rob Camarda next. He's coming to us all the way from Long Island, New York. Yeah. And Rob is one of the best pilots on Long Island. And Rob flies his drone when he's not flying for fun. He flies it for the Syosset Fire Department. Welcome, Rob.
Hello, how are you? Hello, everyone who's chatting away there. I've been flying for we have an unofficial drone unit. It's me and my own equipment. It's a slow start. I've flown about 5 structure fires. I have a thermal imaging camera. I have a fly the Ortel for the fire department with the 640T sensor. We really don't have any search and rescues. I have contracts with neighboring departments in the event of a search and rescue, water search and rescue, and we have some wooded areas on the north end of the island. I really don't know enough about search and rescue. So right now I've been practicing at night finding field mice and rabbits, at the local park.
Well, you had a funny story. Just a few weeks ago, right? We all went to Spin Up in
Yes.
Austin, Texas, and Rob was out at a fire scene the night before. He left to go to Spin Up, and when he went through TSA,
Oh, I
they
reeked
smelled
of
the
smoke.
smoke and everything on him. He had to go
Reeked.
through
Oh, yeah.
secondary screening.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Extra searches on the way on.
Well, I think
Yeah.
Rob, you and Ray ought to be spending time on Gilgo Beach trying to figure out that serial killer
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get an entire area flown in and create a 3D model out of it.
Yeah,
I would be
know.
more than happy to do that. I'm not sure who to contact because that beach area is actually a national park. So we'd have to get a permit to fly
State
there.
Park, right? State Park.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
State Park. I apologize. So we'd have
Yep.
to get a permit. I'm sure it's not a big deal, especially if we're doing it to assist. But yeah.
Well, I know the Suffolk police, they have a drone unit, Unfortunately, they're running into a little bit of an issue with the drones being on the coveted list, and they're in the process of changing their drones. They're getting new drones right now, so we'll see what drones they get, and we'll have at least one of them on, hopefully, on a future show. But yeah, I would love to go there also, Mike, and search for some bodies or whatever,
Yeah.
And you just never know what you could find.
Well, you know that if they found 11, that there's 11 more they didn't find.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So Rob, I know you and I have had meetups. Rob lives about an hour from me, where I live on Long Island, and we've gotten together. And since, what you think of the Shoreham power plant when we went there, Rob?
I think I said it then. It struck me as funny being that turquoise blue. I did not. The image in my head was more 3 Mile Island-esque kind of look with those long towers, which Shoreham didn't really have. So yeah, it was a beautiful sight. The water was crystal clear and the fish were glowing. So yeah, it was great.
All three heads, right?
I'm glad he didn't say it stunk. I didn't like it.
It was interesting when the water was coming
Rob,
up.
Rob and I went all the way up to. We went all the way up to Rhode Island, and we met again up there at the Rhode Island Drone Meetup that was hosted by Mark Fisher and the Rhode Island Drone Meetup group, and we had fun flying up there, right, Rob?
Yeah, that was great. That was great. It's always interesting when you have 20 people flying drones, and the FPV guys are trying to fly theirs, but the DJI signal just blasts the FPV signals right out. You just watch the drones drop, just drop.
Yeah. No, I had such a good time up there. I really did. And again, hats off to Mark Fisher and the Rhode Island Drone Meetup group. I know Mark's in the chat, and it's always good to see him in there because he's one of the best pilots that I know up there in Rhode Island. And I talk to him. I give him a call. I pick his brain, and he's more than happy to help me. And that's what's nice about this whole drone community. We're all here to help each other,
It's one of the most open communities I've ever been a part of. So where everybody's willing to share, which has been great.
But I do hope to get out to Utah and visit you, Mike.
Well, you ought to come and see if there's a couple of national parks that I wish somebody could get a license to fly, because there's a couple of places that are that I'd really like to, in some sheer cliffs, get some imagery on.
Yeah. And I know, I've never been to Utah. I've heard so much about it. It's just beautiful. I know. Did you used to watch Live PD when it was on TV?
I've seen a few of the episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I got to know one of the troopers that was on that show, and he was the sergeant in the Salt Lake City area, and he has invited me to come out there too.
Well, you better take him up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, listen, Rob, I don't mean to cut you short,
No.
but I'm going to bring in another guest right now, rather than keep everybody in the back room, and then we'll talk among ourselves. But the next guest is somebody who I really, really hope to meet in person someday. He gave us a semi-commitment to come to the South Florida Drone Meetup. His company, Pilot Institute, is actually sponsoring it. They're going to donate some lanyards for our second annual South Florida Drone Meetup. And I'm going to bring in Greg Revedrew right now. And Greg, good to see you.
Well, thanks for having me, Captain Ray.
Yeah, good to see you again. You were on our Fly for Fun show,
Yep.
And I got to know you, very well on that show. And since then, I've signed up to your course, and I'm studying, and I hope to get my Part 107 with the help of your course. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and I know you like to fly for fun. You've told us that already. I think you're an FPV guy now.
Yes.
No?
About a year and a half ago, I started doing that. Getting better. Not going to say I'm good. I'm getting better, and just learning to be a bit more comfortable just flying on my own. So. Yeah.
Well, FPV is very, very difficult, at least for me. I've had the toy drone. I unboxed it, tried it in the house. It went right up to the ceiling, crashed, and I haven't tried it again since.
Well, it's funny. There's a lot of interesting transfer of knowledge from flying airplanes, and some of them are negative transfers. So when I get to fly the FPV, sometimes I overthink it and start to think flying airplanes rather than drones, and then there's a bit of a negative transfer there, but getting there.
Yeah. Well, Greg, you didn't start with FPV, right? You start with a GPS drone.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, my first one was actually a DJI Phantom 1, the very first one with the GoPro camera on it. And then I bought a Chinese gimbal on eBay for, I think it was $70 or something like that, where you could actually have stabilization. You still couldn't really see what was going on the GoPro. So whatever you were capturing was, whatever you got. It's good luck, making sure that you get the right footage at the right time.
Exactly. I know. You also have a live stream, right? Called Pixel, if I remember right.
Pixel Drone Show. It's not live actually. We record it on Tuesdays. Well, we put it live on. We put it
right.
on the group on Tuesdays. We typically record before. Live is difficult, as you know. So because we also have two other co-hosts with Kara and Haya. It makes it harder to go live. So we typically record it ahead and then edit it and then put it on the show.
Yes. And that might be a good way to do it, because like last week when I went on, I forgot to make it public. So for the first 2 minutes, I was talking to myself.
Yep.
It was private.
Well, and we've had issues when we were recording not live. So I figured if this happened live, then it makes it a lot more difficult. So there's always something going on. I think we have 35 episodes now, and even after 35 episodes, there's still something happening at one point. So.
Exactly. And I know I was on Mike King's Profiling Evil, and we were talking about that case, and I had the worst internet when I was trying to be a guest on his show, and I felt so bad, right, Mike?
Well, you were sunning down in Florida, if I remember, so you couldn't be held responsible.
Yeah, and I'm in Florida again now, and I'm here until May 1st. But so far the internet seems to be working good, so I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I know, Greg. I want to say thank you very much. You agreed to sponsor the South Florida Drone Meetup, and I want to say thank you for that. And for the people in the chat that don't know about it yet, we're going to have it on April 2nd, 2022, and it's going to be held in Jensen Beach, Florida. and it's going to be another good time. Last year we had 50 plus that came. So far, I have 55 commitments that have told me they're coming already. So
Wow.
I hope you can make it as well.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best. I think I have another event that's right around the same time. So I need to look at the calendar, and it's in Florida, it's in Orlando. So if I can squeeze the two together, that would be outstanding.
Sure.
I have two little ones at home, so I try to combine my travel and make it as short as I can, so I'm not away from home too much. But yeah, I'll definitely do my best to be there.
Exactly. Mike, and the same open invitation goes to you, you know.
Oh, great. I have no one at home other than me and my wife. So, yeah, mine would only be distance.
Yeah. I know you're busy, though. You're a busy guy. Mike travels the world, by the way, just to let you guys know. He was just in Europe. Where were you again, Mike, a couple of weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. We're all through Eastern Europe. Yeah, about 3 weeks in Latvia and Poland and Czech Republic and Germany. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, Rob, you're busy. You already said you're busy, but we'd love to have you if your schedule changes or whatever.
I'm trying to work something out, so it's still not a no, but it's not a yes either. I'm a 50-50
no.
there. So I really
good.
we're trying.
And I don't mean to put people on the spot right on the live stream. I just want you to all feel welcome. That's all. And you know,
I may just knowing.
But anyway, I'm
looking
going
at
to
the
bring
date
in
of
us.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in a special guest, and a lot of people don't know that Santa, who I put in the publicity postings on Facebook, is really Bob Dempsey. And Bob Dempsey, welcome. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. I have to tell you, it is always an extreme pleasure to be on with the luckiest human being on the face of the earth. I got to tell kids, this is why Captain Ray is so lucky, because everything in life is cause and effect. And Captain Ray has done so much good for so many people for so many years. That's why he's the luckiest man on earth right now.
Well, thank you.
We love
Thank
it.
you, Bob.
That's great.
This is why I had Bob come on tonight. But no, Bob, I think the world of your old farts with drones Facebook group, and the fact that you dress up and as Santa, that's amazing. I find it very, very interesting.
Well, I have the
how did you get involved in that?
Well, it's an interesting story. I don't know how much time you have, but one of my clients, I'm a graphic artist, and my wife has a photography company and a travel company, and so we were doing photographs for a client, and they insisted that I play Santa for their Christmas party, and they were a large company here in Las Vegas. And they rented an entire nightclub at the Palms Hotel for their Christmas party. And so I showed up, and she took me into the nightclub that they had rented. And she said, I have 2 escorts for you tonight. And I was like, oh, really, escorts? And it was, at the time, the Playboy Club was at the Palms Hotel, and it was 2 Playboy bunnies, both about 6'6", and I'm 5'3", and we just had the most fun time all night, and I was hooked from that point forward. And it's been about I think it's 15 or 16 years that I've been doing Santa.
That's amazing,
and I love doing it, kind of thing.
It is. It's amazing. It really is. Very, very interesting.
I've just gotten to do a lot of fun things.
And Bob, when you're not playing Santa and you're not working on your old farts group. You fly drones, right?
Yes.
You like to fly?
I've been, it's right at 2 years now. I've been really addicted to drones. I got a mini at the end of each year. I buy myself a present because my birthday is December 22nd, and I never get to celebrate my birthday on my birthday. But I also tend to accumulate a few extra bucks during December. So it's a good time. And I bought myself a Mini 2 years ago. And then I bought myself an Air 2 a year ago. And then in April, I did the Best Buy Shuffle, and I have the Air 2S since April, and I've just been enjoying it tremendously.
That's what we like to hear, really.
Yeah.
And for the people in the chat, and I don't know if you know, Greg. Do you know I was the big winner at Spin Up, and I won a Mavic 3 drone?
I heard about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Captain Ray, there's nobody on the internet that hasn't heard about that. Okay.
I hear you've been flying it a lot.
Yeah, I've been flying it a lot. Yeah, I'm still nervous flying it, but another week or so, I think the nervousness will go away, and I'll be able to. I did take a chance fly it out over water, and I plan on looking for sharks. I'm down here in Jupiter, and I plan to look for the sharks out there, and hopefully this year I'm going to find them. But it's good. It's good, Bob, that you started your old farts with a.
Yes, I've had just a tremendous time. It really is.
I consider myself an old fart.
I think most guys do after 30, 40, you kind of get that feeling. It was a joke. Old farts was a joke to begin with. And I found out that, there was just so many guys my age and younger and older, that really enjoyed it. And on some of the groups, they were getting some snarky answers when they asked them basic questions, and which stimulated the idea to start this group. And I've had a video just recently out. We're on the verge of hitting 5,000 members, which I know isn't a whole lot in internet land, but it's quite an accompliment. I was just surprised.
Your group's very, very successful. It really is, And Mike, how long have you been doing Profiling Evil now?
Maybe 14 or 15 months.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And what would you say is the biggest case that you've featured or worked on Profiling Evil?
We've had a number of them. I mean, Westenhoff's case, Dennis's case with you was obviously a big case because Dr. Phil picked it up as well. Angela Green, a mom out of Kansas who many believe was murdered by her husband. That case was another that Dr. Phil picked up and we did. Suzanne Morphew out in Colorado, the missing mom whose husband now is standing trial for homicide. So yeah, there's been a batch of them. Yeah,
no doubt about it. I find it, like I say, very interesting, and I to be honest with you, I miss, being on the job, as we used to say, and I missed it so much, Mike. I started volunteering with the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was just a ploy to get donuts or something. I didn't realize you were serious about that.
Yeah.
That's not true. Police and donuts don't go together.
I know. Well, but Rob, I know that you fly, commercially also, you know, and I know that you got a couple of accounts if you want to talk about them.
Most of my commercial flying is proprietary. So there's not much I can share. I mean, I do solar panel inspections, roof inspections. I had spoken about it on another show. I actually had gotten some work for Netflix. That's about all I could say about what I did with that. It's in post-production now. It's a docudrama. So we'll see. 3 hours worth of data. Maybe it'll be a minute and a half of actual footage. You know how that goes.
Exactly.
But
you were telling me. You were telling me.
I know Greg won't talk about this, but as a commercial pilot, I still took the trust certification through his course. And when people who are Part 107 said, "Why would you do that? Why would you need to?" And I just bring up, I'm a worst case scenario kind of thinker. So I said the scenario is we go to a drone meetup, and I fly someone else's drone that's not a registered drone. I would be in violation. Now, would someone actually, would the FAA actually be there? Probably not. But for a free course that took 20 minutes at best, it's a simple course. There's it's free. There's no reason not to do it. Yep. It's just none.
Exactly. And Greg, maybe you could talk a little bit about that, because I know there's people in the chat that don't know what the trust test is.
Yep. Yeah. Trust is a new requirement from the FAA. It went in place in June, at the end of June of 2021, although it was mandated to the FAA to be put in place with the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018. So it's been in the books for a long time, but the FAA took over 2 years to put that in place. It's one of the last requirements of the new regulation for recreational pilots, which is under USC 44809. So if you hear people say 44809, that's what they're talking about. And one of those requirements, there's 8 requirements, and one of those requirements is to get the trust exam. They call it a test. I don't like the word test. Actually, I wish the last T in trust was training, because that's really what it is. Okay, right. It's free training from the FAA, and there's no reason not to do it, because one, it's required. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to do, and you can fail. It's free. I said that I think 20 times, but it's free. And then you have your certificate, and it's a one-time deal. It doesn't expire. So it will teach you where to fly, when you need to have airspace approval. We actually have a free course that goes and supplements trust. Trust is text only. We actually created a more detailed course that is also free. It's called Recreational Flying Made Easy, and that gives people a little bit more additional information about how to actually get airspace information. So if you go on our website, you can find the course. But yeah, trust. There's about a dozen training providers. We've created, I think last I checked, about 45,000 trust certificates since June. We're one of the largest training provider for that, and so trust.pilotinstitute.com is where you'll find it. It's free.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, I was amazed when I first heard about it, and I went to that list, but I ended up taking your course, your training, and there were things on there that I didn't know, and I had to correct those answers before I got that certificate,
And we hear that a lot, actually. We heard that a lot, especially at the beginning. We heard a lot of people saying, well, I'm glad I took it because I learned this. And even if it's one thing that you learn, then mission accomplished.
Exactly. The other thing,
I have a question for Greg, if I could, Ray. Hey, Greg, so for someone who has a pilot's license and let's say some minimal certificates, how difficult is the jump to get the certification for drone? And is there a level of arrogance that gets in the way when you think you have a pilot's license?
A little bit, yes. There's a little bit. I don't know if I call it arrogance, but it's a little bit of self-confidence. I'll tell you, the one difference is that there's new regulation. Part 107 is not covered in any of your Part 61 training. I know this very well because my background is I'm a flight instructor and I'm a Part 61 commercial pilot, and I kind of went into this the same way. I can get it, using my Part 61 certificate, and then realize that it's a little bit deeper than that. especially with the airspace. You'd think you know airspace because you're already a manned aircraft pilot. And the airspace is different because there's sub-levels of Class E airspace that we actually don't teach to manned aircraft pilots because they don't need to know that. You know that there's one type of Class E airspace because that's all you need to know. But when you become a drone pilot, you actually need to know all 5 or 6 different types of Class E airspace. So the regulation, the Class E airspace, the different types of airspace, that's different enough that you need to make sure you read up on it if you don't want to take a course. The FAA has a page if you're current as a Part 61 pilot, if you have a flight review within the last 24 calendar months, then you can take the test for free on the FAA website and then just submit the application later on. I think it's ALC 4. I'm not going to remember from the top of my head. It's 421 or 424, something like that. And that's on FAAsafety.gov, and you can see it there. And so if you're current, then you can do it right there. They'll give you the training, and you can't really fail that test.
Interesting.
Yep.
Thanks.
No, I used to, even when I was on the police department, I used to volunteer to go to training. I'm a firm believer in training. You can never have too much of it, you know?
Nope.
There's always something to learn.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And I got to say, I will finish your course, Greg. I promise.
That's why you get lifetime access. You can do it at your own pace.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but another thing, Greg, you know, and I found it great that you issue free registration numbers on your website, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we do. And this is something that we do for the community. We realized that a lot of people were getting scammed or roped off into paying for registration much more than they need to. Registration is $5. It's good for 3 years, and it's only done on the FAA website. If you don't see .gov at the end of that website, then you're on the wrong place, and you're going to get charged $30 to even $60 sometimes to have somebody do the registration for you, which doesn't need to be done. So we found that out, and we found that people actually, these websites, they get you because they say that they're going to send you a registration sticker, and you know, $30 or $60 for a registration sticker is very steep. So we decided to offer this for free, and we've issued, I think last time I checked, it's close to 5,000 of them. We said we were going to do 10,000 of them, and quite frankly, we're going to keep going. So we just bought a whole bunch of new ones. We do this once a week, so you can submit it. Just pilotinstitute.com/free, and you'll see there. You just give us your number, and we'll put it on a beautiful sticker, and we'll send it to you by mail.
Yeah, no, it's great. It is. Yeah, I have to get a new one now for my Mavic 3.
Mavic 3. Yep, absolutely.
But it's funny because as I was doing that, I double checked my registration, and I thought it expired in January. My registration expired December 2nd. And that's exactly
so
I actually renewed my registration. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we put the expiration date actually on your sticker. This is something that I've learned over the years because we have so many drones here in the studio, and every time I grab one, I got to think, is this registration still good? So we actually put an expiration date on our registration sticker so that you don't have to worry about it. You can just basically take a look real quick. It's part of your checklist and of your pre-flight, and then you're good and you're flying legally.
Exactly. I know. And the reason I started doing it, and I have this on my Mavic 3 now, is I have a return address label, and I handwritten my registration number along with my cell phone number.
Yep. And that's another thing that we put on the stickers is your cell phone number. So if you want to provide us your cell phone, promise we won't call you. I don't like being on the phone anyway, and then we'll put that on your thing. So if you get lost, somebody calls you.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine who was into remote control airplanes, and he had lost one of his airplanes one time. And 3 days later, he did get the phone call because he had a phone number on it. Hey, did you lose your airplane? And the guy says, yeah, I'll be right over, you know. And he was able to get it back, you know, because he had his number on the sticker. Yeah.
It's cheap insurance.
So is there a rough idea of how many people are not licensed, what percentage are not licensed, what percent of drones are not registered? Because I see a lot of people that are just like, even in the national parks, they're putting up drones, and I'm thinking, how are you working through this in your wacky brain?
Well, it's very difficult because we know that last I checked, there was about 2 million drones that were sold in the United States. There's about 250,000 remote pilots that are certified to fly commercially. And then there's about between 800,000 and 1 million people that registered for recreational purposes. So you can do the math and add up those two numbers and then look up, against 2 million drones that are being sold. My guess is that there's about half the people that have registered their drone with the FAA when they're supposed to. So the education piece is even more difficult. This is something that we deal with every single day, is I think a lot of people just don't realize the rules that are in place. So you say you see people flying in national parks. I think most people don't do it on purpose. They just do it because they don't know. And they think that, this is a cheap drone that I just bought at Walmart for $150. What kind of trouble can I get in after spending $150? So it's very difficult to get that information across to people that just bought a drone and don't know anything about our world. So it's tough.
Right, exactly. I know. And a lot of new pilots are going to be born on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of drones that are opened.
And that's also part of the reason why we do so much free content on our website, especially for recreational pilots, because I believe if we want to educate them, it shouldn't be an extra fee. It should be something that's available for free. The FAA website is difficult to navigate, especially when all the pieces of information are in different places. So we try to keep it all in one place. And that's why we have that course, the Recreational Flying Made Easy, that's free. It's 2.5 hours of courses and of videos, and you get everything you need to know to be able to fly.
It's amazing, Greg, and I got to give you a lot of credit. You give away, you have this information or training that's available for free, and that's a great service that you're offering everybody.
It's a no-brainer, quite frankly. The way that I look at it personally is when people fly safely, we all have the ability to grow, including my business. It's a little bit of a personal thing, but if we start having people flying and creating more rules, then it's going to hurt everyone in the industry. So we all need to do this. We all need to become mentors to everybody else that's flying out there and help them understand the rules.
Exactly. I don't mind if somebody comes up to me while I'm flying. I mean, I try to concentrate on my flying, but if I can answer questions while they're standing alongside to me, I take the time to do that. And I always, I fly with an iPad mini most of the time, and I'll show them the video, and I'll show them how it takes photos and it's recording video, and they're so impressed, the people. But then inevitably they say, how much does it cost?
So this one was free. I want it.
Yeah, well, that's true.
No, I think that's a great idea too. I think, teaching other people, I know in the old fart groups, that's really one of the purposes that I think that it's serving is that, people get a drone and they have no idea what to do, and to be kind and considerate and to share, your passion with them, makes a great difference. And I agree with Ray. I've many times have been standing in a park and have somebody come walking by and immediately start with the litany of questions, and because, I know you can't do this with an FPV drone, but with a camera drone, you can just take your hand off and let the drone just sit there and spend 30 seconds, giving them a briefing, of it, and then inviting them, yes, come and watch here, and I think I've probably sold a lot of people on drones because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we Rob and I, we were flying at this abandoned psychiatric center on Long Island, and we noticed that one of the, I guess you could say, maintenance men was watching us. I noticed them, and I said, "Oh, here we go. We're gonna get in trouble now," But he was watching us, and I ended up going over to him while the other guys were flying, and some guys were flying GPS, some guys were flying FPV, and I went over and I actually offered him, if you want to try it, I'll let you try it. Oh, no, 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 I can't. No, no, no. I said, no, no, they're easy. It's easy to fly it. He says, no, no. My boss is up in the building there. If he comes down and catches me flying a drone, I get in trouble. But anyway, we had a good time that day, didn't we, Rob?
Yeah, that was great. What was the sign that was up there? I mean, what was
no
it?
vax mandate or something?
Yeah,
no vax
something
mandate.
like that. Yeah.
The kids or somebody went into this abandoned structure, and on the 6th floor, they put a sign, a man-made sheet up, no vax mandate. But anyway,
we have pictures of that. But
so I got a question for this brain trust. What's the reality of Amazon delivering my stuff with a drone? Because I don't want Amazon flying my package down the street.
In Utah, it's probably a reality. In New York City, it's just not going to happen. Logistics of it. I'm not a commercial drone pilot flying for Amazon or Walmart or CVS or whomever, but I could see drones being used for heart, kidneys, from hospital to hospital, because there's a specific place to take off from that's safe and a specific place to land that's safe. When you think about drone deliveries to a home, you have to worry about people, dogs, cats, what pets, fences, tree lines, wires. There's logistically, there's so much to avoid. Will that happen in our lifetime? Probably not. I mean, if you're going to get a drone delivery, it'll be in a vehicle because it's faster and more efficient than launching a drone. It'll be a drone vehicle like the pizza deliveries now, that they come in drone vehicles where you put in your code and you take out your box and you're done.
Right. Exactly. What do you think about that, Greg?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And also, to me, there's much better use of that technology. Like you said, transporting organs, transporting medical tests between hospitals and vaccines and whatever it is that we want to transfer between different areas. I don't see, I mean, I live in a fairly rural area, but I have a ton of trees around my house. I can't usually fly my drone in there unless I'm extremely careful, with constant visual line of sight on everything that's going on, tall pine trees all around. So also very difficult with line of sight because we have mountains all around us. So, what I would love to see is, instead of Walmart delivering tube socks using this, I would love to see Home Depot being able to send me the last thing that I forgot, so I don't have to make one more trip to go to Home Depot. But there's also another thing
exactly
that we have to consider is airspace congestion and the noise. I'm not super excited about having additional noise. I live in a street that's fairly quiet, and only like the cars that live in that area drive in that area, and I like my peace and quiet. And the last thing that I want to see is more drones flying around. Now, what I've been told by the drone delivery folks that I've interviewed is that they're working on technology that's going to make it not as noisy for drones to fly. And quite frankly, the Mavic 3 is a perfect example. A much more quiet drone. And I think because of the wingtip, what they did to the wingtip is really helping. But that's another thing. And then the last thing that I want to mention, which nobody can give me an answer to, and every person that does drone delivery and works on these drone delivery programs are not wanting to answer that question. But what are they going to do with drone pirates and the people that are going to want to get that? It's going to be drones are going to get shot at, and we know that at the moment the government is doing nothing about drones that are being shot at, unless it's a police drone, which is the only time so far in history that somebody has been fined or put in jail for shooting at a drone. So it will be very interesting to see, because people are going to start to go for those loots, even if it's just a tube sock. They're going to want to go for it and getting it. So I think it's going to be a very interesting time.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. We got changing times coming. There's no doubt about it. But I just find it so interesting, and I was always for progress in any type of field, as long as they do it right. Sometimes they roll things out too soon, and there's all kind of issues that arise. But if they do drone delivery in a safe, organized way, I think it could be successful. But like Rob says, you can't be doing it in New York City.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. What are you going to deliver it to someone's patio on the 27th floor? It's just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of work right now with public safety around the globe with drones, but we're talking about deploying before the first responder makes it. So they start providing situational awareness back to the responders. So like in your world, Rob, getting a drone up above and starting to send back thermal imagery to show where the hot spots are in the fire and where the fire department needs to concentrate their efforts, or for a police department on a SWAT call to be able to get that kind of stuff. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of emphasis and change on in the coming 12, 24 months, because more and more police departments are making the 25, 30 grand investments into drone programs, and so that's going to be kind of exciting to see what happens. Hopefully it will save some lives as a result.
Yep.
It's amazing what you can see with the thermal imaging from the drones, along the roof line, especially when you have a 2-story private dwelling, fire on the second floor, and it's into the attic. I was literally able to see through the heat signature in the roof where the fire was going, and if we were making progress putting the fire out on the interior. You could visually see the whole thing on the drone.
That's very cool.
It's really, really cool stuff.
I know. And it saves lives, right? I mean, it could potentially save lives.
Yep.
They're successfully using drones in police work to get people who are trying to evade police from roofs and everything else. Instead of having a police officer climb up on the roof,
right? They
send the drone up, and there he is. And if they're using the Autel Enterprise or the DJI Mavic Enterprise, I think that's what it's called. They have speakers on them, and they could tell the guy, "Hey, get off the roof! Don't make us come up."
Right. Yeah,
don't make this dog come up.
Yeah,
yeah. I forget where it was, but there was a barricaded subject, and the police sent in a drone, and when the guy seen the drone come in, he came out with his hands up.
Yeah, and I believe it was a Mavic too. The pilot did a great job because they only had a small opening in that door. I think I know the video you're talking about. It was maybe 1.5 feet open, and the pilot flew and you could see the shadow from the lights. I believe it was a Mavic too.
I'm gonna not to change the subject, but it is Christmas time. It'll be here very shortly, and we do have Santa on. So if anybody has some Christmas wishes that they'd like to tell Santa, I was going to ask him for a Mavic 3, but I already won one.
Oh, you did?
Well, I'd like to make a wish that we all get along. The feuds that go on, especially on Facebook and stuff like that. We don't allow any political conversation at all in Old Farts with Drones, but I think that should be a standard out there on all the drone groups, because I know I've gotten so many people come back and tell me, I don't want to be on that group because people are arguing about BS we can't change, and I think that there is, everybody wants good things for their family, good things for their children. We all want to, be able to enjoy our life every day. And I think that's what I like to wish for everyone this Christmas, is where you can see beyond the little petty bullshit.
You see what Mark Fisher wants?
What did he say?
I mean, look at him. He wants a Sony Airpack.
It certainly looks like an interesting drone there. That's for sure. It looks a little bit out of Santa's price range.
How and it's going to be different. I usually ask for closing thoughts, but Mike, do you have any special requests from Santa this year?
Well, I'm gonna turn it back on my own channel, Santa. We deal with missing persons and unsolved homicides, and in just the United States alone, we average about 870,000 missing people every single year in our country. And according to the Bureau of Justice, 86% of them are going to make it home. But that still leaves 104,000+ people every single year that disappear off the face of the earth. Their families never know what happened to them.
And that's
the
4
size
times
of
as many family members that are, as stressed off as the missing person,
exactly. And you think about that, that's the size of most cities in the United States being wiped completely off of the map. That's not a third world or an underdeveloped country. This is a country that should do better and a people that should be doing better. So I always think about that awesome Karen Carpenter song of "I'll Be Home for Christmas" and all of those empty socks that will never get filled. So
right.
Yeah.
So that's a nice warm thought to leave at Christmas, isn't it?
No,
Yes.
it's good. Hey, if one of them comes home safe.
That's the idea. Or if you're estranged from your family at the moment and you're watching this, somehow pick up a phone and call somebody just to let somebody know that you're alive,
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the big success stories, I worked on that Katie Beers case and we did get her back alive, and I'm very proud of that, and I hope she's doing well right now. But Rob, what are some of the things you want to tell Santa about or request?
I would request, and this is going to sound a little corny, but that everybody have a safe and happy holiday season. Like Santa just said, if you're alone and doing nothing, call somebody, call a friend, call a family member, call somebody. It can make the difference in the world. Nothing more important than family. Nothing.
That's true.
Family's
We're not supposed to be
#1.
alone. We're a pack animal. Okay.
Yep.
Get back to your pack.
How about you, Greg? You got any wishes from Santa or for anybody?
I do. Mine is kind of a year-long thing, is become a mentor to somebody who just got a drone, and Christmas is the perfect time. We're going to see a lot of people getting drones. Become a mentor. Tell them about the things that they can do and should do and shouldn't do. And yeah, I think we will all be better if every single person here that's listening and watching becomes a mentor to 1 or 2 people out there.
Right. Reach out.
Exactly.
It's much more valuable than your money is your time.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of times we get wrapped up in ourselves, and it's really not about us. It's about, in my book, helping people, especially kids. I have a focus to try to help kids, and I even put it on my shirts now. Let's get kids hooked on drones, not drugs. And every chance I get, I talk to a kid about flying drones, and adults. If I see you fly drones, and they say no, I says, oh, not yet, you mean? But anyway, I can't say enough. Santa, just bring good health to everybody on the panel, their family, their friends, and everybody in the chat. And everybody have a great time, great holiday season. And I want to thank you all for being on my show, really, from the bottom of my heart. And everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in tonight. And if you guys want to just stay for the after party, I call it an after party, but I'm going to close out the show because we have other shows that start right at 7:00, and I don't want to go into their time. But if anybody has any quick thoughts, you could say it. Otherwise, we'll just say goodbye and fly safe.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you for having me on.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again. Get out there, fly for fun, and fly safe. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.